After 2 years of being stuck in a shelter, this dog finally caught the scent of someone familiar. Paquita was familiar with her carers. After all, she'd been with them at the shelter for so long. For 2 years, the stray had watched other dogs go home with their humans, but she was always left behind. In 2014, someone took a dog called Paquita to the Arca Animal Shelter in Marquita, Argentina. The person explained to the staff working there that they'd found the stray dog on the street. In fact, the person who brought Paquita in claimed that disgruntled cyclists had been throwing stones at the dog. Presumably concerned for the hound's safety then, the person left her in the care of the shelter. On its Facebook page, Arca Animal states that its ultimate goal is to provide comfort to our furry friends. Our main objective is to ensure the welfare of the suffering animal, it wrote. That's because, despite being well cared for, poor Paquita was timid and distant to the point of depression. Not only did this break volunteers' hearts, but it also had another effect. Moreover, Sylvia Ferreira, an Arca Animal volunteer who grew close to Paquita, explained that the dog's age also counted against her. People prefer puppies, so for 2 years she stayed with us, Ferreira told us. Initially, Ferreira couldn't even stroke Paquita without the dog cowering away. But as time went by, so Arca Animal's determination to find a loving home for Paquita increased. Since Paquita was so withdrawn, getting a clear picture of the pooch provided trickier than the staff imagined, but they stuck to it, and eventually their persistence paid off. Passables snap in their possession, then they set about uploading it. Immediately, we got a message from a woman, Ferreira told the Dodo. She said the dog was her son's and that he had been looking for her. Given that staff had thought that Paquita was a stray for the 2 years they'd had her, the news must have come as a shock. The woman described how Paquita had vanished without a trace from her son's backyard. Apparently, her son, Ariel Navarra, had subsequently searched high and low for his beloved pet, but to no avail. Understandably, Navarra was keen to be reunited with his dog, so he arranged to meet Paquita the very next day, on August 6, 2016. But after 24 months apart, neither Navarra nor the Arca Animal volunteers could be sure how things would go. And at first, disappointment looked to be absolutely in the cards. Captured on a video uploaded to YouTube, the reunion took place on a piece of land next to a car park. The footage shows an initially apathetic Paquita moping around behind her handler. By all appearances, the dog seems to be her usual depressed self when she first claps eyes on Navarra. Paquita approaches Navarra warily, as if the dog can't quite believe what her own nose is telling her. But then her tail starts wagging furiously, and after that, her pain and sorrow seem to just melt away. Paquita pushes her nose to Navarra's face and leaps into his arms. Paquita appears to be so ecstatic to see her human after 2 long years that she can't stop kissing him. In fact, she only ceases when she rolls on her back to allow Navarra to rub her belly. And when the poor pooch eventually gets back on her feet, she literally jumps for joy. It's likely we'll never know the full story of exactly why Paquita was handed into Arca Animal. Interestingly, though, the center claimed that it was Navarra's neighbor who brought the dog in. We don't know, the post continued, but his wrong judgment deprived Paquita of the love of his family for too long. However, the truth is far away from his version. She had a family and was happy. Whatever the answer is, at least Paquita finally found her human. And although Arca Animal had to say goodbye to Paquita, they were thrilled things ended so well. The group even penned a touching farewell on Facebook. "Dear Paquita," they wrote, "your foster moms, Susanna and Sylvia, love you, and now we are happy for you." Speaking of Sylvia Ferreira, she shared an update from Paquita's home on November 1st, 2017. Happily, the dog looks transformed. Gone is the sad pooch that stayed at the Arca Animal Shelter. These days, she's the picture of happiness and wears a huge grin on her face.